This is the Against the Current podcast. Against the Current is a faith-based counseling ministry that helps individuals, couples, and families experience emotional, mental, relational, and spiritual transformation through biblically based principles with one-on-one counseling, workshops, and seminars. If you want to find out more, head on over to atcmcounseling.com.
Good morning, and this is Katya again, coming to you from Frederick, Maryland. So happy to be with you today. And I wanted to talk with you today about a word that you might not hear too often. And it just struck me this last week as I was talking with people and just experiencing life, this new life that we have with COVID-19 happening and so many other things. And the word is slothfulness. So what does slothfulness mean? Well, it means laziness. So, which, if you look at it in the dictionary, it can mean inactive, indolent, just lazy. And it can lead to apathy, which means, let's see here, I had some good words to define apathy. Apathy is lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. So apathy is lack of interest, lack of enthusiasm, and lack of concern. So what happens is there's a lot going on, and sometimes we can just become apathetic. We just become slothful. We don't give much attention to what's going on in here, what's going on out there, and it can be because too much social media, too much Netflix, too much TV, too much whatever, it doesn't matter. But I would like to challenge all of us to stay alert and to not just physically lazy. I'm sure a lot of people listening are not physically lazy. A lot of us are very motivated to go to the gym, to go for walks, especially after being in quarantine for so long. We're very motivated to get out there and do something. So, and as a counselor, I don't speak too much on physical issues. I'm speaking about mental issues, emotional health, spiritual health. So I'm talking about spiritual laziness, and along with emotional laziness and mental laziness, those are different things. And what I would like to say to you is, don't be inactive, be engaged. And there's a verse that I wanted to bring our attention to today, and it says, "Be careful what you are hearing. The measure of thought and study you give to the truth you hear will be the measure of virtue and knowledge that comes back to you. And more besides will be given to you who hear." Mark 4:24. So the measure of thought and study. So it takes time for us to think on purpose, to, I've talked before about bringing memories to the forefront, to talk about things. The more we talk about things that are hurting us, things that we're experiencing, it releases a pressure. And I was actually reading not too long ago that it actually is cardiovascularly, if that's a word, good for us. It releases a lot of pressure when we talk about things, as opposed to just leaving them inside, not talking about them. So, so thought and study. So by all means, we need to always be studying. We need to always be learning and be focused. And whatever measure we give towards that will be the measure given back to us. So the goal is to have wisdom and to mature and to be spiritually mature. So again, we're fighting against slothfulness. Doesn't that sound bad? Slothfulness. To be slothful, it just, I don't know, sounds like a slug. A slug is slothful. I just don't like the word. And who wants to be lazy? You know, we don't want to be lazy. And I think that a lot of times we tend to be, like, if we spend too much time, you know, just watching a series, for example, you know, on Netflix or Amazon or whatever, we just become kind of mentally lazy. You know, we're not really living our own lives. So it's important to make ourselves get out of that mode. I feel like that happens a lot more in our modern society, and we have to be aware of that and make ourselves get up and do something, or call someone, reach out, which is a little bit more interesting now that we're supposed to not, you know, be in quarantine, although quarantine is somewhat over. Reach out to a friend, you know, do something with somebody, because we all need that. We are meant to live in communities and not isolated, which is the way a lot of us have been living lately, and that's not good. And one more verse that I wanted to bring our attention to, the Bible also says, and I don't know where this is found, but you can find it. It says, ask and it will be given, seek and you will find, knock and it will be opened. So the key word here that I want us to focus on is seek. Seek. Just search for the information, search for the knowledge, search for people, search for God. So I wanted to bring our attention to 3 things that we can do today and every day. So first one is seek God. Just take time, seek Him, seek His mind, seek what He's all about. You know, you don't really fall in love with somebody that you don't know. So the more you get to know Him, the more you will fall in love with Him, the more you will be blessed, the more the relationship will bless you. So seek God, because there's amazing treasures there. And the number 2 thing is seek people. So what do I mean by that? Let's not stay isolated. Let's not stay in our little cocoons, and, you know, make plans with people. Call people, call a friend that you haven't talked to in a long time. See how they're doing. Find out, you know, learn from them. You know, they might teach you something, or just hear their story. You know, everybody has a story, and just making time to reach out and, yes, call them and try to meet in person. I know Zoom has been very popular lately, and Zoom is better than nothing. But I would say that meeting in person is 100 times better. Meeting in person is can be magical. It can be very therapeutic. So especially when you're talking about a friend, you know, a business meeting, sure, you can do it over Zoom, but if at all possible, make plans to meet in person. You know, talk to people, listen to them, listen more than talk. But talking is important, but listening is key. But take time, make plans, you know. I know a lot of things are closed these days, which can be frustrating, but there are so many things outdoors, you know, plan a hike, do something. So it's important to just stay engaged. And this is something that I tell people that I'm talking to who are dealing with depression, for example. I just tell them, you know, go for a jog. Go for a long walk. That helps so much, you know, just being outdoors, especially now in the heat. You know, you don't have time to think about how depressed you are when you're just trying to breathe, you know, and stay, you know, hydrated. And then the third one is seek knowledge. So seek God, seek people, seek knowledge. So knowledge is every day we should learn something new. Every day, even if it's something you already learned before. Okay, so it's not new, but you're relearning it. You're taking time to make sure it's ingrained in your brain. Anything. Pick something you're interested in. Read. And this can be a challenge. A lot of people don't like reading, and I have 2 children who don't like reading. And it's always a challenge to try to get them to read something. But reading something, anything, learning every day, even if it's 10 minutes, just take 10 minutes and learn something new. that does amazing things for your brain. And your mind controls your brain, and your mind needs to be stimulated on a regular basis. Don't let yourself float downstream. You know, the name of our ministry is Against the Current. And that I love that, because really when you're trying to succeed and you're trying to achieve and trying to be better, it's like you're swimming upstream, you know, because there's so many forces thrown at you. And most people nowadays, unfortunately, are just living very slothful lives, where we're just amused all the time, we're entertained. And my challenge to all of us, myself included, is to be more engaged and not be slothful, not be lazy, spiritually, mentally lazy. Maybe watch a little less of somebody else living their lives and do something myself, you know. Seek God, seek people, seek knowledge. Find something to do, you know, volunteer somewhere, just something where we are being engaged in society. So I hope that helps anyone and everyone who is listening. And I just want all of us to be better and to be more engaged in society. We need positive voices and positive minds. And if you have any questions, you can go on the website, and that's listed on the podcast, or shoot me an email. That would be all. So you guys have an awesome day, and we'll talk soon. See ya.
Thanks for listening. You can also follow us on Facebook at Against the Current Ministries and on Instagram at Katya C. Mills.